and welcome to Misunderstood, a show for all you culturally and politically misunderstood ladies and gents. We are your hosts.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Nat. And today we're going to be covering a few topics such as Dylan, the trans TikToker who is documenting their transition from male to female, Harry Styles and the alleged ambiguity around his sexuality, and the mob coming for Christian actor Chris Pratt again. But first, we're going to start things off with our patented culture shock moment of the week. Take it away, Kat.
So here's a shock. Not all the conservative leadership candidates are about supporting female-only spaces. Yeah. Nat and I had the pleasure of going to a leadership meet and greet yesterday in Burlington, Ontario, where we got to see Patrick Brown, Scott Aitchison.
Who knows?
Leslie Lewis, Pierre Poilievre, Roman Baber, yeah. And Jean Charest. And we had the opportunity to ask them how they feel about biological males entering female spaces. And much to our surprise, these social conservatives, some of them anyways, had no idea what we were even talking about. They were like stunned at the question.
Yeah, so we started with Leslie Lewis, and I asked her the question, and she looked like she was very displeased with me asking her. Yeah. Like I think we probably took them off guard because I think a lot of these politicians are used to being asked about COVID, stuff they've prepped for. Yeah. But what was most interesting is just the fact that I guess they don't think this is that important of a topic. Yeah. But it's a hot topic right now.
It's like go on Twitter, you know? It seems important, especially when children are being taught that they can be any gender and X and Y chromosomes are just falling out of the sky. It's like these are important in vogue conversations. It's a topic that people are talking about all over the world. And so it was shocking to me that a social conservative like Leslie Lewis, who's a woman, had she was like so taken aback by the question. It was very strange. The only person who had an answer for us was Roman Baber, and he actually gave us a nice little moment, like a short interview, and he had a nice answer, which we'll share the answer in our video.
It's great. But you know, you're going to be the conservative leader. You're hoping to be like, you know, you should try to conserve some female spaces. I mean, you know,
ideally,
you're conserving something.
And if not the Conservative Party, then who? Yeah. Probably.
Then who?
The PPC, probably.
Yeah, but that's true.
Yeah. So that's the shock. I was shocked.
Yeah, me too.
I'm still shocked. Look. Okay.
Well, let's move on.
Yeah, moving on.
Speaking of trans, you guys know a couple weeks ago we played a clip from Dylan. Dylan is a TikToker who is documenting on TikTok, obviously, each day that they are a girl. So this person recently came out as trans, and they are, I guess, just going through each day as a girl. So there's an article that we would like to touch on. If you don't mind pulling that up, Mrs. Producer.
Yeah, it's from theskim.com, which I had never heard of.
Me either,
but
no.
It's an interview with Dylan. One thing that stuck out to me was that, so here's a quote from the article.
Yes.
Along the way, followers have watched Dylan buy tampons for other women, try yoga for the first time as a woman, and learn about her zodiac sign.
Well, nothing defines you more than your zodiac.
Like you didn't care about zodiac as a man, but now that you wear leggings, you're like, oh, what sign am I?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. So basically, this interview is just like gushing at this person for being such a brave and bold woman. And it's funny that like normal women on their day-to-day don't get celebrated. Like, you know, we don't get, no one's
like, oh my God, now what's your zodiac sign? You're so brave.
Exactly. Like no one's like, oh my gosh, you're the best woman ever, Kat. And you've been doing it for 17 years, but this person's on day like 40 and like, let's just write them an article, you know? And it's like, it's just, it kind of grosses me out because like, we are biologically women, and no one gives a hoot. No one gives a hoot. We're not getting rewarded, and we should.
No, my God.
But do more. No. But yeah.
And it's also like this article's riddled with misinformation. Yeah. Like, for instance, there's another quote here. It says, at the time when there's fear and outrage surrounding measures like Florida's Don't Say Gay law, many find Dylan's videos to be a source of hope and inspiration. It's like,
Did you read the bill?
I thought as a journalist you had to do a simple Google. Like you're supposed to actually do more than that. But at the basic level, like Google it. just read the bill yourself. And it has nothing to do with not saying gay. It could also be called don't say straight. It's about not talking about sexuality to children.
Minors.
Who are in grade 3, right?
Yeah.
Like up to grade 3.
Yeah, no, exactly. But these people clearly have an agenda, though. That's what it is. It's ultimately, it's all politics at the end of the day. They want to push their agenda. And yeah, I just think it's interesting. I mean, this person used to be an actor, okay? And it's...
they're not anymore?
Well, I don't know, but I think this is the biggest role of their life, frankly, because you went from being an unsuccessful actor to having 2 million subscribers on TikTok. I wonder if there's any kind of motive there. It's pretty trendy to transition right now.
Yes, I was actually going to come out as non-binary.
Oh my gosh, that should have been our culture shock.
Yeah, so
well, you heard it here first, folks.
I'm hoping it skyrockets my career, and if not, then I'll just go back to being a regular woman.
Yeah, just become a woman when it's convenient for you.
Yes, exactly. And it's very in vogue to be trans right now.
Yeah,
so I'm
definitely.
going to try it.
Please. Well, we'll see how this goes, guys. Yeah, and one of the other things I thought that was really interesting is that this interviewer asked Dylan the best and worst part about, you know, coming out so publicly. And Dylan was like, the worst part has been that the vulnerability can be exhausting. And it's like, but you signed up for this.
Yeah, like you document it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, TikTok.
Like
yeah.
it's not like anyone is forcing you to do this. Yeah. So you're clearly doing it for attention, so you can't complain about it, frankly. You're making a career off of this.
Yeah.
You know, no one's interviewing us.
Oh, they can.
On the Skim or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the Skim. Here's a quote from Dylan. Actually, it's not a bad quote. Like, to be honest, he or she said, I just realized you can't please everyone. Everyone's on their different journey, and being a woman is not defined by those. She's talking about looking specifically like a woman because she dresses.
Okay, yeah, we should talk about that. Yeah.
So everyone's on a different journey, and it's not being defined by those things, but it does help me feel like one in some ways. I think we all have to have let each other look like and be the people that we want to be. And I totally agree with that. But Dylan, you're on TikTok, like Nat just said, like if you're so concerned about being vulnerable and like how private your life, like your private life is being like explored by everyone, it's like you are doing that for TikTok followers and you're being wildly successful at it. And maybe if you were just a gay guy on TikTok, maybe you wouldn't be so successful. Like I can't say for sure either way, but it's like.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think there's a case to be made. And there's another quote that kind of piggybacks on that. I want the world to be kind to trans people, and they can't look when they can't look like that, or when they don't have the energy to get all dolled up, because there's a sort of expectation that exists that is sort of unspoken. And it's like, well, you know where else that expectation exists? On actual biological women. We don't get to just go on TikTok live with a beard, you know, like it would be appalling for the entire world. Like women are constantly criticized for their looks every single second of the day.
Welcome to the club, Dylan.
Yeah, so you don't get to just like be a woman when it's convenient for you. Like you have to put the effort in 100% of the time, not 99% of the time, unfortunately.
Or deal with the criticism.
Yeah.
Of someone saying, oh, you look kind of like a man today. It's like, you know what? Sometimes I look like a man, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have my bad days, and it's like if I'm feeling ugly, I'm probably not gonna post a video that day. But it's like if I do, I'm gonna be open to criticism, and that's what you get when you're a TikToker, and a massive one.
Yeah. 2 million followers. It's a lot.
Yeah, and here's another quote from Dylan. I put so much of myself out there, but there are still parts of me that I have to keep private, or things that just belong to me. In some ways, it does feel like I now owe people things, or I need to chime in on anything that goes on in my life. I don't want to get to a place where my transition feels like it's owned by someone else. That's called being famous.
It's owned by China.
Yeah.
Because you're coming out on TikTok, my friend. So sorry. Like, yeah, I'm so sick of these famous people complaining about being famous. It's like, hello, we're trying.
Yeah, we're trying so hard over
here.
We're
working our arses off.
Once we get famous, we're going to start complaining about being famous.
Yeah, like we will. But no, I'm just kidding. No. But you know, it just seems silly. Like if you really are if you're feeling the weight of the world, then quit. Like quit TikTok, just transition. And that kind of also speaks to the fact, like the article kind of touches on how, like, you know, paving the way for the trans community, and some trans people still feel unsafe. And it's like, well, if you really felt that unsafe, you wouldn't be on social media. You'd be hiding.
Yeah.
If you lived in a country that wasn't accepting, you wouldn't be able to freely come out as a transgender person. So it's like, are you unsafe? I don't think so. Of course, there are going to be horrible people out there who mistreat you. But you know what? That happens to everyone. It happens to biological women too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
ever walk down the street alone at night, Dylan?
Yeah.
I bet you start puffing up that chest when you do. Seriously. I just think it's interesting that like the first video that Dylan put out was like day one of being a woman. It's like, so yesterday you were a man?
Yeah.
And today you're a woman?
So
like
you can just flip the
You can
switch.
just do that?
Yeah.
Like,
guess so.
right?
Must be nice. Well, today I'm a billionaire.
Yeah. Can I have some stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
Sweet. So she's so generous. You
Yeah.
guys. Anyways, I just want to say, like, I think of all the people on TikTok who are transitioning and documenting it, Dylan is not my least favorite. Like,
there's a charm.
there is a certain
But that's
charm.
'cause
Like,
this person's an actor.
yes, and I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, I feel like I know this person a little bit just by watching all their videos, and like, she feels like a nice person. Like, she does. She feels like a kind person. She does say a lot of kind things about, you know, the community and other women, and she carries tampons, not for herself, but for other women, because she wants to like bond with women. And as misguided as it may be, it's sort of sweet. Like, she doesn't seem like a predator to me.
No.
Like, I have no
Just a
problem with,
fame
and
predator.
she's obviously an adult. Like, she's not a child.
No, for sure. Like a consenting adult.
Yeah.
For sure. I
so
totally
like, go for
respect
it.
that.
Do it. It's just like, you know, like, if you're gonna be complaining about being vulnerable on the internet, like, don't be vulnerable on the internet.
Yeah.
Dylan.
You have a choice.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah. And stop dressing like a child, though. 'Cause that's really creepy.
Yeah, the way that you dress is like Dorothy from Wizard of Oz, and it's like, have you seen a woman nowadays? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, all right. Best
Should
of
we
luck.
talk about other people who kind of act like women?
Yes.
Harry Styles, everyone.
Harry Styles was in the news recently. He had an interview with a magazine. I wrote it down.
It's about gardening.
Yeah, it's okay. It's the magazine is called Better Homes and Gardens.
It's relevant.
And in this interview, Harry Styles is talking about how he doesn't want to define his sexuality because it's like no one's business. And I'm just trying
outdated.
Yeah, it's outdated, right? It's outdated. And it's like, first of all, it's not outdated if you're talking to your sexual partners. They might be interested to know. But it's also interesting because it's like, this is a Better Homes and Garden magazine. And they're like, so, Harry, what kind of garden do you have? And he's like, stop talking about my sexuality.
And you're like, okay.
I just wanted to know about your like poinsettias.
And the thing is, so he gets a lot of accusations for being like, for queer baiting.
Yeah, that's a term I had not
never heard that word before. Yeah. And he added, am I sprinkling in nuggets of sexual ambiguity to try to be more interesting?
Yes.
He says no, but we say yes.
We say yes.
Yes, you do. Because otherwise, what else do you have going for you?
Yeah. Like
really?
Are you dating men? Are you sleeping with men and dating men? No, no one's ever seen that. You've never.
You're dating a very attractive woman.
Yeah, and you dated Taylor Swift, and she ain't no man.
Yeah.
And I just think it's interesting. My theory, of course, how dare I make a judgment about his sexuality, but my theory is he is a straight white guy who needs to say, oh, no, like, it's no one's business. It's outdated. Like, who knows what I am? It's like, no, you're sleeping with hot models.
Yeah.
You're a straight white guy, and it's okay, Harry.
Yeah, just be straight
You're
white.
allowed to wear nail polish. I don't care. Like, he looks good. I don't think it's attractive when he wears, like, lace gowns. Like, I wouldn't want my man to do that. But, like, he looks good.
He's okay.
He looks all right.
I think he's just had too much soy or something. But
yes. I'd like to see him in, like, a denim jacket.
Yeah, that'd be
with,
nice.
like, some pants.
Leather.
Yeah, like,
you know?
buoy it up a little bit. That could be hot.
Yeah, I agree. There's another article that kind of touches on this where he recalls his sexuality stressing him out. And one of the articles starts with, like, he wasn't always a sex symbol. And I was like,
no, because he was a child.
But it's also like, you can't classify men who wear dresses as sex symbols.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, you just can't. Like, no, maybe some women are into that, as you mentioned, but I really doubt.
Yeah.
The majority of us are not going to date you or sleep with you.
I'm sure he gets a lot of.
Yeah.
But but I agree, where like any teenage girl who's like screaming at his concert would be like, okay, but like actually when you meet my parents, please don't wear a dress. Yeah. Please.
And probably no nail polish too, you know? I don't know. I just think.
I mean, it can be punk.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But like, yeah, the dress is like
nail polish.
You're obviously doing exactly what you say you're not doing. You're peppering in sexual ambiguity to be more interesting.
Yeah, and we're on to you. We see right through it.
I see. You know, if you want to give me a call, I can tell you some cool men's stores to shop at.
Yeah, I mean, you have the money.
Yeah,
so like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
And I guess when he was in One Direction, he had to sign like a clause, basically that like prohibited him from like having sex, I guess.
I think it was just being a sexual like icon, like talking about sex. Like it was like keep it behind closed doors because this is like a family show.
Which is funny because now that's exactly what he wants to do, but he was like complaining about the clause in this article, and you're like, dude, like you that's what you wanted all along, and it's like you also didn't have to sign that contract. Like you don't have to. Like if you're a talented person, there are other opportunities for you to make it as a musician. Like it's kind of funny that he's complaining about this.
I actually don't know any of his music.
Watermelon bunnies, sugar. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm sure it's badass music though.
I'm sure it's
timeless classics.
I'm sure it's.
Are we old? Like, am I supposed to know Harry Styles?
Isn't he like our age?
I think so.
Okay.
So, but I feel like he makes music for little.
Oh, for little
teens,
little yeah.
tweens,
right?
Tweens who think it's cute when boys wear dresses.
Okay, well,
I was never that young.
No. I plan to never be that young. Yes.
He has a quote here I want to read. He says, the whole point of where we should be heading, which is toward accepting everybody and being more open, is that it doesn't matter. And it's not about having to label everything, not having to clarify what boxes you're checking. And I'm like, again, your sexual partners deserve to know that.
Yeah. Plus, it's funny because the left loves to label everything.
Yeah.
You're a bigot. You're trans. You're
and
Latinx.
Like, what gender are you? Like, what? Like,
what, are you spectrum? Like,
yeah.
you know, like everything is about labels on the left. So it's funny that you say that because it's obviously not true. Either that or you're just a fake progressive.
I just learned our coworker Mike and I were looking at like a list of all the genders, and one of them is like neuro something. And anyways, it's about not being straight or gay or bi, and also not falling into the non-binary category. So it's like that's too much of a label, being non-binary. It's like you're not even that.
So
it's like
so you're just nothing?
You're this piece of paper right here.
You're just nothing. You're like dust.
Yeah.
Okay.
And imagine your friends are like, okay, I can get on board with being non-binary, but that's too far.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call you now.
Plus, why do you want to erase gender? It's beautiful to have biological differences, you guys. Okay, like we've talked about this on the show before. It's okay to blend some traits. I mean, Kat now is non-binary, so you'll start to see a little more of that come out on the show. But it's all right to just like be what you are. Like you don't have to try to be like Harry Styles. You don't have to be so out there to be unique and special. Like you are unique and special.
Yeah,
you were born that way.
Yeah.
You don't have to try so hard.
Yes.
Okay?
And it's okay to be a white, cis male. Yeah. It's okay.
It is.
Not everyone's going to be that, but you are.
Yeah.
So you can just do that. It's all right.
Fewer and fewer of you.
Yeah,
so
we're losing the men.
Yeah, so maybe that's the new...
We need you, Harry.
We need you, Harry, okay? He's got a nice chiseled jaw, so...
Come back to the team.
Come back to the good side, okay?
I think he just has like a research team that's like, you know, when you wore that dress at the Met Gala,
a lot of RTs.
You got a lot of RTs that day, my friend, and he's like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
And it just like goes from there. So, you know, it's working for you, but I'm not buying it.
I don't think it's a sustainable career plan.
No, especially when you want to get married and have children.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
To an older woman who already has a child.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yee. Should we talk about real men now?
Yes. Let's talk about one of the only actual men in Hollywood.
Yeah. Other than Matthew McConaughey. I think he's a man.
Well, one of.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Matthew another day because he's worth discussing.
For that day. Yeah.
I'm going to buy a Lincoln just to be near him.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt is the man that we're discussing today, and he was under fire last week. People were trying to get him fired from Guardians of the Galaxy, the franchise, and what was his crime? I forget. What did he do? What did he do?
I think he's just like a Christian and he's open about it. Am I wrong?
No, yes.
Okay.
He's associated with the church.
Oh my gosh.
And you know, the church has a history of discriminating against the LGBT community.
Right. Because,
so we should cancel him immediately.
Right. Because upholding a biblical standard of marriage means you're not letting any gay person into your church. Yeah, that's not what that means, by the way, guys.
No.
All are welcome.
Yeah, and he's never specifically said anything homophobic or sexist or racist that I know of.
No,
and I'm sure we would know. I'm sure we would hear about it.
Yeah.
It's literally just that people know he's a Christian.
Oh, gosh.
And that's his big crime. And thank goodness the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't know his name. Do you know his name? I don't know his name. But anyways, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise defended Chris Pratt and was like, we're not going to cancel him.
His last name's Gunn.
There you go.
That's all I
Mr.
got.
Gunn.
Yeah, Mr.
Said,
Gunn.
we're not going to cancel him because of his political leanings.
Yeah. So basically there was a tweet that went viral where, as you mentioned, where they advocated for Pratt to be replaced, and it was like a side-by-side photo of Chris Pratt and another actor, I think Patrick Wilson, and they look very similar.
So you're just going to replace this guy with another white guy who looks the same, and that's going to solve your problems until you find out that Patrick Wilson also loves his wife, and then you're going to cancel him too?
Exactly. Like, you just can't win. And basically, many are applauding Gunn for sticking up for Pratt and refusing to go along with the trend of canceling someone, or even worse, getting them fired. So it basically just speaks to the fact that when the mob comes after you, ignore them, and guess what? They'll just go away. They'll just go away. That's what needs to be done.
Don't pour gasoline on that fire.
Exactly. And I really respect that this director is just kind of like letting it be.
Yeah, I respect that too. He's probably so rich. He's like, no.
I'm good.
We're good.
I'm going to keep making Guardians of the Galaxy 57.
Yeah.
And you know what? The liberals may not go watch it, but you know who will now? The Christians.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, we still need to watch stuff.
Yeah, there's always a market.
Less and less stuff that we can watch that's entertaining.
Absolutely.
I think it's interesting, though, because this whole concept of canceling someone for beliefs that you don't agree with, it's interesting because last week there was also a petition on Twitter going around to have Amber Heard canceled from, like, fired from Aquaman 2. Yeah. And it got me thinking, because I was like, yeah, do I want her, like, did I watch Aquaman 1? No. Will I watch Aquaman 2? No. So do I personally care? No. But she seems like a horrible person.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't be petitioning people. I mean, this is my question. Like, should we be petitioning to have people canceled just because we disagree with them? I would say no, and I think that would stand for Amber Heard as well. It's like, unless she's found guilty of a crime, then she can't work because she's in jail.
Well, and it's interesting too because, in the wake of #MeToo, there's all the Weinstein movies. Harvey Weinstein is a producer. A lot of movies are made by his company or produced by him, and those movies are still out and about on the air, like everyone, we can go watch them. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence is in literally all of them.
Scrub his name from the credits,
right? Sure, but the money's still a-flowing. Yeah, the money's still a-flowing.
Like, they still wouldn't have existed without him,
right? And so the point is, like, you go after Amber, you go after Chris, like, then you literally have to go after every single movie in Hollywood because they're all disgusting, immoral people. Like, they are. There's a lot of skeletons in their closet. Okay.
So, how many people knew about Harvey Weinstein?
Exactly.
And Harvey Weinstein and what he was doing.
Right.
Like, a lot of celebrities, I'm sure, knew.
And they just turned because
they were getting paid and they didn't care.
Exactly. So, I
just don't think we should be, like, canceling people because we don't agree with them. If they're breaking the law, the law will handle that.
Yeah, and I think there's also a bigger conversation to be had about, boycotting things and stuff as well, because it's
boycott
like, kind of to an extent, but then it's like, what are you also going to do? Like, okay, there was that big controversy a long time ago about that conservative influencer in Sephora. And
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so she was like this Christian Trump supporting Latin American conservative influencer, okay? And she was sponsored by Sephora. And I guess people complained about her because she's a Trumpster. And then they ended their contract with her. So this happened. And it's like, okay, but I still want to go to Sephora. Like, so it's like, where do you draw that line? Like, obviously, my values are not aligned with Sephora's for a lot of things.
Yeah, no, I have to still shop there.
But yeah, where else do you
They only sell drunk elephant stuff there. Like,
that's
where
what
am
I mean.
Supposed to
like,
go?
so it's like, if we cancel everything, there'll be nowhere for us to shop either. And in the United States, I think there's more of an opportunity to start your own business, and like more people are starting more conservative, minded businesses. But in Canada, everyone's scared to be a conservative openly. Yeah. So we don't have that privilege. So it's like,
and even a lot of these, like, small, like, you and I have reached out to a couple of small beauty brands in Canada that we like because they're like clean Canadian beauty brands with like sustainable packaging and stuff. And we're like, this really speaks to who we are. And we reach out to them and they're like, don't want to be associated with conservative
just don't
women.
Reply.
Yeah. And it's like, so am I going to stop shopping?
Well, you can't, because where else would you go?
Where am I going to get my clean blush?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, her blush looks great. Maybe now that you're non-binary, you don't need blush.
Exactly.
We'll see.
Or I need more.
Only time will tell.
Or I'll make it blue.
Yeah. But we should commend Chris Pratt, I think, for being an outspoken Christian in Hollywood, because as we've talked about before, like, it's very clear that Hollywood hates Christians. So for him to, like, pick up his cross and just carry it, like, that's what we're called to do as Christians.
And he doesn't even do it very, like, overtly. No. It's, like, pretty subtle still.
Yeah, which is, I think, great, too, because then I think you're kind of, like, bridging the gap. Like, maybe maybe his
he
role
doesn't
in
have to shove it down everybody's throats.
Exactly. Who knows, like, who he could bring to Christ through that subtlety. Like, you just don't know. And I think it should be commended. But, you know, as Christians, like, we are called to, the Bible says we will be persecuted for his name. So, you know, keep picking up your cross, Chris, because I think, like, crisscross, you will be, you're glorifying God. And I think that's what we're called to do. So
if only more celebrities were open about that. I bet there's a lot more. And I know I've heard stories of, again, Joe Rogan saying, it was actually Jerry Seinfeld said that he has people, oh no, it wasn't Jerry Seinfeld, sorry, it was Ben Shapiro, said he has a lot of like liberal Hollywood friends who will secretly whisper to him like, oh, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you will never say it out loud. So I bet there's a lot of like secret closeted Christians who just like believe in family values and stuff and who are just like, I'm not going to say it though because I don't want to get canceled. It's like, you don't want to get canceled for like loving God.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
No, it's also like you're not doing your job as a Christian, frankly. Like you're just not. I'll just read this Bible verse if that's okay.
Yeah.
Matthew 5:10-12. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. So it's a blessing to be persecuted by our culture, and you got to keep doing it. And so to any of you closeted Hollywood actors who are obviously watching this show, you are not doing enough. So
hey, Brad.
Get out there. Yeah, hey, Brad. We're looking at you, Pitt. Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That was great. We're going to move on to, what are we doing, a blitz?
We're doing health.
Health, of course.
We're going to talk about health. I know this is a bit of a variety show, but, you know,
it's a variety hour.
Our last few shows have been kind of dark and heavy. So we just wanted to lighten things up with some gender neutrality and some non-binary.
Yeah, and we're going to power clash our way through this next segment.
That's what we do. Should we talk about this a little bit?
Yes, let's talk about this. You know, Miley Cyrus was in the news, I think it was 2020. She was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and she said that she had to start including fish into her diet because she's a very outspoken vegan. She has been for a long time, and she has like animals that she rescues, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, like, I love that she cares about animals.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for me, I do eat meat, but I do have a moral problem with the way that we manufacture meat. Like I see those trucks on the highway with the pigs in them and it literally makes me want to cry.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of unethical practices, but it's important to note there are still many farms in North America that are treating your animals with respect.
Exactly. You can find healthy, happy meat and you just have to, it might cost a little bit more, but you can definitely, especially if you go to the city, go to a farmer's market, like you can find great meat. If you're eating at McDonald's, you're probably eating sweatshop meat. Right.
And you know, when you're right, you might be paying a premium to get, you know, better quality meat, but you're also feeding into your local economy. And that's what we need right now to stop the Great Reset. So just to throw that in there. But yeah, so basically she ditched her diet because her brain wasn't functioning properly and she was pretty malnourished. So I'm so glad she admitted this because we talked about veganism a couple, months ago now. And when we posted a clip about it, vegans got mad.
Someone commented, they're like, we're not lions.
Yeah.
And I'm like our teeth aren't made to eat meat. It's like, they are.
Yes,
they literally are. They literally are. We're omnivores. That is the kind of species that humans are. We eat leaves and grains.
Yep, that's the way God intended it, my friends. So you're right. It's just biologically the way it is. And of course, we are very proud advocates of, you know, your body, you know, fuel your body with what makes you feel good and what, you know, helps you to be a productive member of society. But for most people, that includes incorporating meat into your diet. Sure, you can do it if you're rich and you have all the money in the world to have every supplement ever.
Because in this article, it says, well, it's quoted from the Joe Rogan podcast. Miley Cyrus said, it's not a quote from her, but it says she was doing all the supplements, making protein shakes, etc., but it just wasn't enough at the end of the day.
Right, but my point is that it's not enough for her body. Like maybe someone else is able to.
Yeah, no, certainly.
You know, I think it just depends on your body.
Yeah, some people do feel great and are very healthy on a vegan diet. I think it's if that's how your genealogy is built, maybe that's right for you. I think there's a interesting theory about what your ancestors ate is what's best for your gut biology. So that's interesting. My parents and grandparents and great-grandparents all eat meat and potatoes, so me love a steak and potato.
That's my girl.
But it's interesting that Miley Cyrus, with literally all of the resources available to her, was taking all the supplements. She has all the money in the world. She can get that good nutrition, but she was still lacking in the basic nutrients. I think it's vitamin A, or one of the major vitamins that we need only comes from
B12.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But one of these major vitamins that you need in your diet to have a healthy, well-balanced life is only found in animal products.
Yeah.
You cannot find it anywhere else. I think it's D3.
Right.
D3.
There's the thing is, there's so many vitamins that meat offers you, and you need them. And, you know, if your diet forces you to take vitamins, like that's way more expensive than just going and buying meat, frankly.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. It's something to pay attention to, I think. And I'm glad that she's being outspoken of this, because as we mentioned, like, she was just such a stark, staunch vegan before.
Yeah.
So it's good when these people admit that they're wrong. And, you know, a lot of people I know who are vegan and vegetarian don't look healthy. Like, they just don't. They're not as strong. They're not as glowy, you know, in their skin and stuff. And I just think it's something we should talk about more.
Well, I was a vegetarian when I was in high school, and I was not supplementing.
Right.
I was literally eating like potato chips for my meals.
Delicious.
And my hair started falling out, and my skin turned yellow because I was jaundiced.
Oh gosh.
So I can bet you that not every vegan is supplementing with all the even if
it's expensive.
It's very expensive, and you end up eating a lot more carbs than you would if you just ate meat.
Then you're fat and
weak. That was me.
Weak.
I was fat and weak, and I got really, really sick, and I had to go to the doctor, and they were like, "You are dying." And my eyeballs, literally the whites of my eyes turned yellow.
Oh, that sounds...
And I started eating meat, and my skin returned to its normal shade immediately, like that week. It was crazy, and I was like, "Oh my gosh," it was crazy.
You gotta follow God's plan.
But I was stupid. I wasn't taking any supplements at all. But it's like, that's expensive, and it's also unnatural. And like, I currently take supplements because our modern diets do not include all the vitamins and nutrients.
Our vegetables are less nutrient dense now than they were, you know, a couple decades ago.
Yeah.
So
the earth, like minerals, the soil, the top layer, you know.
So I mean, it sucks that we're at a place, you know, where we have to potentially take supplements to supplement our diets. But if that's literally how you're relying on getting nutrients, like, there's something wrong with your diet, and you need to look at that, because sure, you know, you're saving the animals or whatever, but like, are you saving yourself?
And are you even? There's actually a really interesting quote from Ted Nugent. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about this, and they actually used the quote in an episode of Yellowstone.
Ooh.
And it's about how, in order to farm tofu and soy, you have to dredge up the amount of soy that we're creating right now, you have to dredge up so much land, and you are literally ripping animals out of the ground. The amount of dead animals that come up in the grinding process when you're like milling the land to plant the soy is horrific.
Oh my
horrific.
goodness.
And so you're like, are you actually saving animals?
Right.
Are you?
There you go. And like, and you know, it's not better for the environment, because look at how much water you need to get some of these things, like almond milk, for example. Like, it's not sustainable, frankly. And I think the biggest question at hand here is, why is there such a push for all of us to be vegetarian and vegan?
It's so weird. Every time I'm on the highway, I see like Impossible sausage, like plant-based nutrition. It's like
Beyond Meat.
Yes, exactly. And like, plants are great. I eat vegetables. Plants. You gotta eat vegetables.
Yeah.
Vegetables are great, but the whole plant. There's actually a really interesting book called Plant Paradox that my dad has like been trying to make me read, and it's a complex book, so I can't really sum it up. But basically, it's like, is it more healthy to only eat plants? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
So
so it's just interesting, something to think about. Why are the powers that be? Why is Hollywood, so many celebrities?
It's weird.
Why are they pushing this weird agenda? Do they want us to be pharmaceutical customers for life?
Yes.
Maybe they just want us to be unhealthy. I think so, but maybe I should take off my tinfoil hat.
Nah, keep it on. It looks great on you. But that's an interesting point. Like, what are they getting out of this?
Yeah. I don't know, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna find out that Bill Gates owns like all the Impossible sausages in the world, and it's like, and no wonder, like, Mr. Soy Boobs is telling everyone to eat soy products.
Not going to take dietary advice from you, Bill. Sorry.
Nope.
But yeah. But we appreciate your input. Just kidding. I think that's the show.
Yeah.
I think we did it.
We did it. That was very successful. I feel good about it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is Misunderstood, which comes out every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Rebel News Plus. You can watch it at misunderstoodshow.ca.
And on Saturdays, we post the whole episode for free in case you haven't yet subscribed for Elbow News Plus, so you can watch it on
YouTube, Rumble,
YouTube,
but
anywhere.
You can also find it at Watch Misunderstood.
Watch Misunderstood.
CA.
One of them. The cool thing about that is we post all the clips there too, so you can catch everything.
Yes.
We'll cut up this show and we'll put little teasers, and then you can send those to your friends who aren't watching the show yet, and you should, because we're talking about some important stuff here.
Yeah, we are. And also check out our merch.
Oh my gosh, check out.
We have new merch.
Ah, it's so exciting.
It's super cute.
It's super cute. We wore it in our video at the Burlington Convention Center yesterday.
And we got 1 or 2 compliments.
We got like a whole 1 or 2.
A whole 1 or 2, but they were very warm compliments. So right now too, you can get 10% off using code misunderstood10. So go to misunderstoodmerch.com, use code misunderstood10, and buy our merch.
Buy our merch.
So cute.
Send it to your mom who hates the show.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my own mom. I'm going to buy her the merch.
Great.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
All right. Well, we're your hosts.
I'm Kat.
I'm Nat. Follow us on social media. Love you. Bye.
Bye.